Hey guys, Fourpause here, and today we're going to be taking a look at countering Zac. At the moment, Zac is considered to be one of the best champions in League, so it's no surprise he is usually either picked or banned in high level solo queue and tournament play. Thankfully Riot have finally got around to taking a look at Zac's kit, but even with the recent nerfs he is still extremely powerful. So who should you pick when you're facing him in the top lane? Aatrox is a good choice for this lane, as both Zac and Aatrox deal sustained damage. This allows for Aatrox to land multiple auto attacks and cycle through both his Blood First and Blood Price abilities. Maxing Blades of Torment's first is optimal, as not only will this ability grant you great clearing power, it can also be used to harass Zac from afar. Zac's similar move, Stretching Strike, is almost exactly half the range of Blades of Torment, thus you won't take any return damage. Also, because this ability deals magic damage, it will still hurt Zac when he rushes for a defensive item such as Sunfire Cape. In this lane you should be able to farm up whilst out sustaining Zac. Next up is Elise. Try to use your ranged advantage to pressure Zac in the early game, auto attack him as often as possible and occasionally throw out a Neurotoxin. When Zac uses an ability and procs his passive Cell Division, try to contest the blobs with use of Spider Form's dueling power. A neat trick with Elise is to use Cocoon on Zac when he activates his ultimate Let's Bounce. This will lock him in place, which makes it difficult for him to use his ability to its full potential. Also, don't forget that Repel can be used to dodge both Elastic Slingshot and Let's Bounce, so try to predict both of these cooldowns. Moving on to Jace, you'll find yourself playing extremely similar to Elise. Use your ranged form to pressure Zac with auto attacks between CSing, and when Zac attempts to pick up his blobs, you should be able to punish him by landing a clean Shock Blast. Also, similar to Elise, you can use your melee form to duel over the blobs. Otherwise, this lane phase should be relatively easy. Even if you start to fall behind, you can hold back and safely CS with your Shock Blast ability. If you manage to down Zac, however, into his passive state, use your Acceleration Gate Shock Blast combo to quickly finish him off. If you choose Kennen, you'll be walking into a simple lane phase. You should be able to land 3 trades on Zac in the early game through use of auto attacks, Thundering Shuriken and Electrical Surge. Your biggest concern will be Stretching Strike, as this ability has a similar range to Kennen's tiny auto attack range. Kennen's passive, Mark of the Storm, can be used to prevent Zac from using his Elastic Slingshot. As he begins charging it, quickly land 3 marks and you'll prevent his escape. Otherwise, just farm up the lane so that when the teamfights begin, you'll have your core items such as Zhonya's. A good Riven player will be able to crush an enemy Zac. If Zac comes into range to either use its Stretching Strike or Unstable Matter, you'll be in range to begin a trade. Try to soak as much damage as possible with Valor, and rotate through abilities and auto attacks to put Riven's passive Runic Blade to good use. Even if Stretching Strike lands on Riven, the mini dashes from Broken Wings and Valor should be enough to close the gap. This matchup will allow you to capitalise on Riven's strong early game so that you can snowball into the late game. And finally, Vladimir. In my opinion, Vladimir is probably the best choice for this lane, as it will allow him to farm up for his core build. Prioritise killing minions until you reach around level 7 and have purchased some Spellvamp. From here you can play this lane more aggressively. Aim to trade Zac often, and in between these trades put that Spellvamp to good use on the minions. Doing this will force Zac to chug down his health potions and eventually return to base. Something to remember is a well-timed Sanguine Pool can prevent all of Zac's damage. Try to use it when Zac activates Let's Bounce, or before he lands on top of you with Elastic Slingshot. My general tip for facing Zac is to not underestimate his Cell Division. Try to crush his blobs, or at least contest them during the lane, as this will deny him his free health. Equally, be careful of committing to an all-in engagement with him. When you proc his passive, there's a lot of contextual factors that can take place which might screw you over. An example, you might run out of cooldowns during the all-in engagement to be able to finish off his blobs. To conclude, Zac's in a great place right now. As I mentioned, Riot are probably going to keep nerfing him, but until then make sure you're picking the correct champion so that it doesn't roll you in the lane phase. If you enjoyed this episode of Counted, or learned something new, feel free to leave a like down below, and as always feel free to come subscribe to my YouTube channel, How to Top Lane, if you want to further improve yourself as a player. In the next episode of Counted, we'll be taking a look at Jax, so until next time guys, take care.